And we have an impressive panelist with us. Arwa, who represents the fashion industry, Vincent, an expert on future of work, Imad, media and entertainment, and Abdulaziz with social media. So we're really in for a treat here. We're all across the world. Obviously, we can't be physically in Saudi, unfortunately. So I brought a little of Saudi I have with me. Actually, this brooch, which was given to me by the kind people from the NISC Foundation when I went to the dinner in Davos at the World Economic Forum. So I thought it would be a good touch, especially because Arwa is in fashion. So bringing a little bit of Saudi with me. And thank you once again to NISC for this kind present. So let's just jump right in because we only have 30 minutes and we have such impressive people that I think we need 30 minutes just for the introduction. So I'm going to skip mine and I'll go straight to Arwa. And Arwa, I think it's super impressive. And as you and I also spoke about, it's so rare to hear about a Saudi female fashion designer, right? And people from the West are always surprised, like, what? A Saudi female fashion designer, a strong woman? I think it's, first of all, we want to change the stereotypes we have in the West, one, that, but second also, I think it's such an inspiration for our local listeners as well. So could you start by, telling us how you started, what was your why of starting a fashion brand?
Thank you so much, Vera. So I wanted to start a fashion brand. Well, one, because I was always inspired by fashion all my life. And that definitely comes with the support and inspiration that came from both my parents. And when I came to it and I decided I really want to start my own brand was, one, because I wanted to communicate the Arab culture through the brand. A very beautiful culture that I'm proud of, and especially being Saudi, the culture that I am born with. And secondly, to empower women through one way I know how, and that's through design and fashion. So that's definitely the two reasons on why I wanted to start and why I wanted to embark on this journey.
Yeah. So I was going through your Instagram as preparation for this, which I love. And if you don't follow Arwa, I highly recommend you do. She has amazing clothes that I'm looking forward to buy once I'm back. But on your in an interview, you say it's not just about clothes, it's about women. So how would you like the Arab woman, and especially a Saudi woman, to be seen globally?
Well, I do believe in that, because when speaking of myself and the field I'm in, being a designer and creative director, my inspiration and the woman I designed for is mainly the Arab woman. And for that, the woman is an inspiration to me. I want to be able to give her confidence through wearing my brand. And at the same time, being a Saudi fashion designer, I do believe that one of the things I love to do, part of my designs, is I want to modernize our traditions. So that way, not only a woman in Saudi can wear these designs, but as well a woman from the West. So for example, one of our traditional garments is the abaya. And in more than one collection, I reintroduced the abaya in different forms, where it could be designed more on a silhouette that is more towards a trench coat or towards a merge between a abaya and a kimono. So it's really to be proud and to continue being proud and continue working on our traditions, but in a way through fashion, and a brand that is now in our time is to modernize these silhouettes so that every woman can wear it.
Amazing, beautiful. I'll come back to you, but let me go to Vincent now. Vincent has a very interesting story. In fact, he used to be a professional magician before. So he probably had one of those crystal balls that told him 5 years ago, COVID is coming. So he created a future of work company 5 years ago already. Where are you, Vincent? I lost you. Oh, there you are. So can you share with us your why? I mean, you were so forward thinking 5 years ago to start thinking about a company that is very much labeled a future of work. So please share with us how you had this idea. What was your why behind it?
Yeah, sure. So SparkUp is an online platform for capturing audience attention. And at SparkUp, we help event and meeting organizers to create engaging event experiences, and wow their audience in non-power technology tricks. So SparkUp gives a voice to everyone. This is what we want to do. And when we look at opportunities right now, remote work has accelerated kind of like by 10 years as the last 6 months, 50% of the world employees will jump on video conferencing on the next decade. I was talking with the CEO of a very famous video conferencing platform. They are running 400 million video conferencing meeting a day, and organizations right now are relying on video more and more. And no later than today, we had an event with 700 people that just transformed into 40,000 people in that time. So people are really shifting to being virtual, and of course, we are facing real challenges with that.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, we are facing a lot of challenges, and you and I were talking about it before as well. That it's quite difficult to be alone all the time. So, how do you, with SparkUp, how do you create this way of staying motivated, and especially because we probably have a lot of young entrepreneurs listening in? How do you still, maintain this innovation, kind of spirit of innovation and motivation by working alone at home?
Yeah, so first of all, talking about challenges, we launched a study among like 50,000 people during the lockdown, the first lockdown in Europe and in Asia. And just interesting data, we had like 55% of people that don't feel heard during virtual meeting. 72% think that face-to-face meetings are more efficient than virtual meeting, and 75% feel that they are hardly or not involved at all during remote meetings. So interesting, like people really are missing being on site. So the real challenge right now is more about like the human communication, and being behind the screen is kind of a new reality, and we missed out a lot of nonverbal communications. 70% of our communication is nonverbal, 8% for the tone of your voice, and we are facing what we call online fatigue and attention span. So I think the real challenge for us, for SparkUp, and for what we are facing in the future of work is more for communicators, I should say, more generally, is how do you replicate the dynamic of a face-to-face meeting but online, because people have to make more emotional effort to appear interested in what's happening. I would say that is the challenge we are really facing right now. So maybe you want to keep going on how do we motivate people?
Exactly. So this challenge, it's crazy. 70% is non-verbal. So how do we create that? How do you create this non-verbal communication in an online chat right now? We had the opportunity to speak offline a little bit, so we kind of got to know each other. But if you get on a call, or even without a call, you're working at home, how do you keep the attention? How do you keep the motivation of a person and the spirit of innovation for, entrepreneurs?
Okay, so I will try to give you my secret. it's a hard job, but I would say if we take back just a minute, let's talk about how we are going to fight what we call attention span. Maybe you're home right now, you have kids on the left, you have the team on the right, you have so many people in the surroundings. So we have the attention span has decreased the last 20 years, from like 2 seconds. And we are checking our phone 1,500 times a week. We have like 3,500 decisions a day, just 250 for the food. And personally, I have 150, so just for the summit. And I'm just kidding. We are, the problem is like human interaction in the company right now is an essential ingredient, So we are far away from the team. We have no live interaction. We have no bumping interaction. We have no coffee machine to discuss. We have no informal conversation with our peers. So the result is like attention right now is a rare resources. So the goal, the real first tip is how do we foster creativity, because all this little interaction that we have with our colleagues and with the people we work with are on a way developing creativity around us. So the problem is that we are all relying more and more on virtual meetings to create connections, to give a voice to everyone, which is difficult. So I would say I have some quick tips that works and that we have been using with our company. I would say tips number one would be to hook your audience in early with an icebreaker, stimulate them from the start. For example, I'm the Sherpa of the G20 delegation this year with Anna Morel, and we started the week with all the French entrepreneurs by, with a tagline like, what is your intention? Give us just your intention. And we have a collective work all together, sharing intention, just to bring everyone together, the one that was virtually connecting as well. I will say that the average audience attention decreases after 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, you have to reset and restart. And that's tough. It's tough. Every 10 minutes, you have to reset completely because people are losing attention and they come back after 45 minutes. So I would say reset and restart every 10 minutes, create a polling question, launch a quiz, ask questions to your audience, collect feedback. This is extremely important if you want to keep people attention on what's happening and motivated on your content. Of course, avoid long presentation. And maybe I would say tips number 3, give a voice to everyone, trust your team, and keep this. That will help you keep these motivations.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vincent. I'll come back to you. Friends who are listening, please don't lose your attention. This is a very interesting panel. Imad, you're next. So, wow, the media and entertainment industry has undergone dynamic changes, that's for sure. I mean, a big milestone was when we launched cinemas in Saudi Arabia and it all opened up, and then we had probably some of the best concerts in Saudi. I remember my Emirati friends from Dubai were saying they're flying to a concert in Riyadh. And, I think a few years ago, you would have never heard this. It was just not happening. So, I mean, the industry was booming. I'd like to hear from you, where do you see it heading globally, but also, in the MENA region, in GCC maybe specifically? And of course, with the whole content creation going on, I think it changed dramatically from, just like what it used to be to, not Instagram, but what's this really popular app? I don't have it, but everybody's using it. TikTok, right? I mean, it's booming. So maybe you can give us a little bit on yourself as well, and then the media industry and where you see it's heading.
Thank you, Vera. The media industry has changed a lot this year due to COVID, but in an interesting way. So there are some media that suffered, such as the outdoor media, the billboard advertising, the out of home. It suffered big time. All right. Well, us as J Group, we are investing right now in the outdoor media. So we took over a huge billboard company in Dubai, and we are now investing in Saudi as well as other countries, because we believe that COVID at the end of the day will end if there is a vaccine, and the outdoor advertising will increase and will be back to normal. Well, the other things in media, the TV consumption definitely has been affected, and mainly because the video production, producing a video in times of COVID and producing series in times of COVID was really a hard job for all the producers, for all the actors, for everyone. It was challenging. But at the same time, the TV, yes, it was affected. But now I think everyone adapted, and the TV industry is back to normal. I believe that this quarter, Q4, the TV stations will do much better than what's expected, because everyone adapted to COVID. So now they can produce a video, they can produce like a series, all right, knowing that there are everyone knows what to do now in this time. When it comes to digital media, that I kept it till the end, all right, digital media, it boomed like crazy. Like video streaming, I'm sure all of you watched all the movies on Netflix, all the movies on Apple. Everyone was on Instagram all the time, Snapchat, TikTok. I mean, the digital media increased a lot. video streaming, social media, also delivery applications such as Deliveroo and others. I don't want to like not mention other names. So basically, the digital media boom. I expect that the digital media is going to increase more and more and more. All right. So currently, we as J Group, we're investing heavily in digital media. We are the first company who has a verified lead generation system that's used now by global companies. The technology is made in the Middle East, 100%. We own it. And it's connected to more than 50,000 website and application, all right, whereby we can reach 3 out of 4 people in the Middle East. I think with all the changes with the digital media booming, I think that the Arab media will change. The Arab media will no more be only targeting the Arab world. So I think that Arab media is going to invest globally, and I know this. And I think that we at one point in time, the COVID made digital media strong, and it affected everyone. And everyone now is like 100% sure that if he runs a company in Dubai, why not make people in New York or LA or Tokyo or wherever see what he's doing and interact, etc. The media will play a major part in this, and this was going to happen, but the COVID made it faster.
Thank you so much, Imad. I'll come back, but this is a good segue to Abdulaziz, in fact, who is a co-founder of a social media company called Five. So, Abdulaziz, I mean, we all talk about social media, obviously, nowadays, right? I told you already last week I was on a call with Jeff Orlowski, who is the director of the movie The Social Dilemma. And other people are worried about social media now, how it affects mental health of people. So maybe you can tell us first about what Fiverr is and how can people, join, and how are you doing from the social media? What are you creating with Fiverr?
So thank you, Vera. Fiverr is the easiest way to get recommendations that are trustworthy from friends and family. And a lot of the times in this digital age, there's so much content, swirling around, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with all the different movies, the books, the places that you've been to. And what we wanted to do is just centralize most of those in one place so that a lot of the things that you're sharing as word of mouth recommendations can be stored. So what we want to focus on is how do we give the user more value when it comes to social interactions. And a lot of the times now what we look with social media is that there's a huge cluster of different types of things that are being pushed to us, whether that be advertisement or very specific type of content that, based on my behavior. So we want to kind of shift that a little bit and focus, on the users themselves and their circles, and then figure out what are the things that they would like to interact with when it comes to music, fashion, other things, leaving that to become, kind of a more valuable type of information that they consume. And so a lot of the things that we're thinking about is that, if it comes down to my small circle and where I'm seeing the dailies or the updates, how can I find something new that's valuable that usually gets lost, in the air, whether it's like somebody mentioning a specific book that, I'd want to, read later, but I don't really get the chance. And the one thing I think when it comes to social media is our biggest focus is not just to keep you hooked on the app, rather than you taking the actions that happens, outside. And so that's one aspect. Now, when it comes down to a lot of the issues with the data privacy, this has been a challenge that, I think a lot of us have faced. But when it comes down to where we are at this age and the amount of data that is being commuted or, collected and processed, there should be, this sort of challenge when it comes to, just looking at data in general, and then having people be concerned that, it's being used or, not properly. And so from our part, this is sort of a good debate. A lot of the times, similar to the social dilemma, the topic itself was quite nice to be able to get, the people, the users, rather than the companies, to start taking controls, talking to leaders about these sort of issues so that there is some tangible change. Now, when we do realize that and we become aware, with time, it becomes much easier that we start facilitating different, policies across the globe so that, now data is not being processed the same way. And I think we face that personally in a lot of the times where now we have to just make sure, and every time we're building our process when it comes to data collection, processing, or, handing that out, there's very strict regulations where we can't share personal information. And I think that's a good drive that we're going towards, because we've seen how that could be, risks to us as users. And I think there's a long way to go. It is good that this topic is stirring in terms of data privacy. I think what we want to focus on is just making sure that in the social space, in the past 10 years, we've seen a lot of boom. There's going to be a few shifts in the way people behave online, in the next future when it comes to social interactions. And we think when it comes to favorites and different things that we interact with, a lot of the times having our mobile devices and a lot of the digital content accessible and quick. It would be quite nice that we could have that centralized and sort of given and shared within our circles, the same way we do see on social media today.
Very interesting. I think what you said is super relevant, that you also create communities offline. And I think that's the biggest trouble that Facebook is being criticized for, that it's only online and it takes people in the online world way too much, whereas we need to create communities offline as well. And that's what you just said Facebook actually does. So that's great. And maybe you can mention quickly on how global you are. So you're not just in Saudi Arabia, but you're actually in many other countries in the world, right?
Yeah. So we initially started to try to build a base that could, test. And then we started in Saudi Arabia, but we sort of focused on trying to position something where the product itself is something with standards all across the globe. Now, we do understand that, in different segmentations, there's different behaviors. So we had to look at a lot of different ones when it came to Europe and the US. And initially what we did was we scaled that and we looked at the use cases and we tried to sort of cater the experience so that a lot of the elements are sort of on a global standard, the same way we see on other social aspects. Now, with time, as we built that base, we started to expand in the GCC area, and then we expanded to the Middle East to cover a lot of the different countries. And we're still working. There's a good user base both in Europe and the US. And we'll continue to push even further with that.
And I must say, I'm super excited because actually I was in the 500 accelerator, and yes. I saw a lot about that. So I'm really happy to hear that you guys succeeded, and it's wonderful. How can people find you? Is it on the App Store? Is it?
What is that? App Store? Yeah, so it's available both on the App Store and Android. We're really excited about the next phase. I think a lot of things are, especially great things, are coming, in the short term and in the long term.
Wonderful. That's really great news. So like Imad was saying, inshallah, Arab music and social media and fashion will be taking over the world. Talking about fashion, Arwa, I'd like to come back to you. So I recently read that you made some bold moves where you decided to go against the fashion kind of schedule, where designers are supposed to release their fashion lines at a certain time. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, it definitely was a decision that we decided to take as a brand through the recent changes that have happened during COVID. And one of those reasons is because fashion shows and showrooms throughout Fashion Week, not everybody could travel. A lot of buyers couldn't go from New York to Paris or even to Dubai. So there was a bit of a change in the whole schedule that definitely a lot of people, I'm sure, from our field have felt and needed to adapt. And we definitely took that decision to also not bore the customer. So not to wait so long for a certain collection to release, which is normally 6 months. from the fashion show, or from the day that you view the collection to the press. And it was definitely due to that, because we're really at a time where there was a lot of change happening that was surprising change. And we really had to adapt very quickly. So we did that as well, because we want the customers and even the buyers of certain boutiques around the world to be able to have access to different collections, and not only those that go within the calendar, the International Fashion Week calendar. So that was mainly what we did, and I saw and read a lot of brands, whether international or local, have as well taken that path. And it's been really treating us better, because that way as well the boutiques have more freedom to buy them collections whenever they want. And some boutiques as well, they love to have an exclusive collection that is just for them. And we as a fashion house, we don't mind doing that. It's just along with sticking to the International Fashion Week, and during these difficult times it was a bit difficult, especially with, a lot of our shipments around the world have been delayed, as well during the time of COVID-19. So we had to take action really quickly and to release a collection whenever we see it suitable.
Yeah, I mean, COVID affected the fashion world for sure, but you were very quick on deciding and taking some bold moves. And so what is next for the Arwa Al Banawi brand? What do you see it? What's your vision?
Well, definitely we are planning to open, let's say, inshallah, by next year, 2 boutiques in the region. And definitely we want to, I really definitely see this happening, especially during the time we're in now, and how COVID really affected retail, is that customers, we feel they're looking for the experience. And I feel we're going, even though, yes, we're going forward towards digital, and that's very important, not only for my field, but many different fields, is to go digital, to be very active on social media. But at the same time, I do believe that we're going a bit old school in terms of what the customer needs. And I do feel in my field that customers do want to feel an experience, whether that is digital or through the boutique itself. But, because a lot of talk has been happening the past few years, is to move everything digitally just on e-commerce. And we have seen that shift a lot in the past 5 years. But I am one of those who have a kind of a balanced thinking on it, where I do believe there should be a balance. So customers feel always engaged with the brand. And that's something that's very important to us in our brand, to have that as one of our values, is that we want to keep the customer engaged and to be a part of the experience as a whole, whether it's through a fashion show, whether it's through how we take our brand digital, and through the boutique experience. And I do believe that is really an important aspect, and I don't believe it's going to fade away forever. I think it's still important to give the customer the real life experience.
I 100% agree with you. I think, digital is great, but to touch the material, to be in a boutique, it's a whole different story. Yeah. So please, I hope there are young Arab women watching and will feel inspired by your story, and we'll see many more young Saudi and Arab female designers, inshallah. Imad, I know you told us a lot about what the media is right now, and you own one of the biggest media groups in Lebanon. Now you're in Dubai. You said you invest a lot in offline. Can you tell us a little more about the digital part of your group and what you're looking at?
We're not only the biggest media group in Lebanon, we are also the biggest in other countries. And
of course,
we've been in Dubai for a long time. But now we decided to invest more in Dubai, and I believe that we have to think what the clients want. So as long as all the big companies, we can serve them in digital media, and through our technologies, all right, whether we're talking like Pepsi, Nestle, Unilever, Reckitt Benckiser, etc., all these big brands, the automotive, if we can help them and help them reach their clients in an effective way, whereby they can sell more, they can have more data, they can have more access to information, to statistics in a scientific way. If we do this, then we are going to help these brands, all right? And this is what we are really doing now. So we represent as a group one of the biggest. We represent Freewheel, which is a Comcast company in the Middle East. Comcast is a massive media company in the States. We represent Unity. It's the biggest gaming platform in the world. We represent many other technologies, all right? I Can Peak, etc. But we've made our own technology, and we've made it very, very efficient, all right? And our users, we have the only company that has a DSP, demand-side platform. It has an Arabic DSP, and it has a data management platform, all right? So these combined can help all the clients have efficient campaigns all over the Arab world and as well as globally. So we are serving clients not only in the Middle East, we're serving clients in Milano, in our offices in London, France, in the States, everywhere in the world.
I have so many more questions. Just wanted to check with Abdulaziz how much time we have left. I don't think we have so much time left, so I'm gonna.
We're on 5 minutes, but do go ahead. Yes.
5 minutes. So Imad, maybe just briefly, how do you think? I mean, I know you invest in startups as well. I think you invested in Shazam, right? You're looking at investing more at startups, and how do you think we will be consuming media going forward as a normal consumer? And I'll be asking this question of Abdulaziz later as well.
So basically, we have a family office in San Francisco. You know my brothers. So, and yes, we're always looking for investing in startups, as we did with Shazam and other investments. And I think we're reaching an era where we're going to have 5G. So we have to remember that 5G is going to change everything. So we have to be fast, quick, and adapt quickly to what's going to happen. Streaming, app download, data, everything will be much faster. So we have to be really quick in investment. I believe in technology. I believe investment in technology. I believe that the Arab world will start investing more and more in technology, whether in media, whether in health, whether in education. Everyone is going to invest more and more in technology. I think this is the right place to be. And I think that the future of media and technology is very big. So Google started in the States and took over the globe. It had user base in the States, whether websites, apps, and its search. And then Google expanded to Europe, and then expanded to Asia, and expanded to the Middle East. And now Google is Google. I think the Google thing, it's so hard to compete with, but it can be, we can have an edge when we target premium websites that Google cannot. So Google talks to everyone, all right? If we can target premium users and have data that is really targeted and specific, we can do something, and that's what we are doing.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll have to move on a little bit quicker. So Vincent, to you, one last time, you shared a lot of great tips. Thank you so much. Are any other tools that you recommend using when working from home alone? And you either work alone or where you try to give a presentation, capture the attention. Any other tools from your side that you would like to share with us?
Sure, sure. Well, I would say first, it's extremely important right now to develop a remote work culture, and to be sure you are surrounding your teams with a lot of different tools. Talking about tools, I can talk about what we are using at Sparkup. We use a tools called Asana for team collaboration, which is great. We use
Last question to you. I mean, I'd like to also know from you how you think the consumer will be consuming media going forward, and also some advice potentially for young entrepreneurs, from Saudi or from the region. If they have an idea, how would you recommend them starting and building their startup and eventually go across borders?
Yeah. So I think when it comes to social media consumption, that's still going to continue. I mean, I don't think we're going to decrease in the sense that we're consuming. It just needs to become much more productive in the sense where the things that we want, we can sort of filter through that and reach that quite quicker to sort of make our lives much better. And when it comes to sort of the advice, I believe that, for any entrepreneur, starting and experimenting and being able to sort of try out different things is what I would advise them. A lot of times what we've seen in the past 3 or 4 years here in Saudi Arabia is there has been a shift. At the beginning, it was about, what entrepreneur is and how cool does that look. And then it became a thing where people wanted to use. But then when people figured out the, hard reality of, having to work really hard and go through the different challenges and phases to reach where they reached. And I think we, as entrepreneurs, always see the reward at the end of that tunnel. And I think it's a really rough road, but I think for everybody who's in Saudi, I wouldn't say that, get stuck on just having ideas and not taking it a step further. Do start, experimenting, come up with, proper analysis, try to take that in, consume that, and readjust and, move forward. I think all as human, it's, good to sort of fail and experiment just to sort of figure out what fits better. And I would just advise everyone to, go ahead and do that if they have different bold ideas, different concepts that they think could work in their local areas.
Thank you. On that note, I think we're at time anyway. So thank you so much, Arwa, Imad, Vincent, Abdulaziz. So let's take more bold moves and go across borders and continue the success. I wish you all continued success. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
thank you all for being here, and thank you viewers for attending the session. We will now revert back to the main hall for the next session. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Enjoy.